Okay, so this video is for my people who know their Geechee and not for those who, well, it's for y'all too, who think you're Gullah Geechee. You know, there's a difference. You really shouldn't be saying Gullah. But let's talk more about the roots. Because Geechee would be in this area here, right? That's your low country Geechee. And I'll show you a map. People who were by the Ogeechee River, the Wale area, the people who spoke Wale, by the Altamaha. This would be your Georgia coast right here, or Carolina, Georgia coast, somewhere around that. Now, I've said for some time that people in Geechee, as soon as I heard this lady, and I'm a player, video speak, I said, these people sound like, no, they don't sound like no damn Africans mixed with some whatever. They sound like people from the Bahamas, from the Caribbean. And so this is going to be an early account, 1551, just 50 years or so after Columbus got there, all right, to the Caribbeans. And it's going to talk and give us a very good clue, or an account, I should say, because it talks about Christopher Columbus sighted these islands in the Lucayan Islands. Christopher Columbus's first lands, the first land sighted by him, were the Lucayan Islands. This would be the Lucayan Islands, a bunch of islands in this patch. Notice how close Florida and Georgia is. But people will still say that the Caribbean people didn't know nothing about those people, and that's look, I should be able to pull up another source where even De Soto and Juan Ponce de Leon and others was the natives in the Caribbeans was telling them about what's going on in Florida. That's what made some of them want to go to Florida. So you got like this here. It says that the people of these islands are whiter than those of the more beautiful Cuba or Haiti. So they were more light skinned than the people of Cuba or Haiti. The people coming from the mainlands, especially the women. It says from the mainland. From the mainland, many men came, like those from Florida, Chicora, and Yucatan. So first of all, they literally say Florida people came to the Lucayan Islands that Christopher Columbus was at, and he knew about them. But also the Chicora. So you need to know your tribes, because many people think you're Geechee, yes, because y'all stood by the Ogeechee River, for many of years, but really y'all are Yuchi Indians or Chicora or whatever other tribes. Because the Chicora refers to the name given by the Spanish explorers in the 16th century to the legendary Native American kingdom or tribe in present-day South Carolina. The term refers to the vessels, blah, blah, blah. South Carolina, okay? All along, and that lets you know that even all along, all the way up until at least here, any Indians up along this coast had dealings and going-ons with people down in the damn islands. And it's not such a stretch. Like I've said before, you can hop on a log and float your ass to any of these places. They're not that far. I still wouldn't do that. Get a boat. But it says that the people came and dwelt among them, and thus they were more handsome than those of the other islands. So it just talks about the people, how they looked and all that. And even in here, they're talking about people, strong currents that carried away canoes from reports, from the Amazon. I believe came reports of the Amazons, for they had strong currents that carried away canoes. They went about naked, blah, 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 all that other stuff. Okay. So just think, you have one source here from 1551 in the Library of Congress associating people who come from the Low Country area, the Geechee area, down to the Bahamas and back and forth. Now, that's just when Christopher Columbus got there. They were well already going on. So how long had they been going back and forth? How many people are those people, our people, and people are their people? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, some of those people might not be exactly from the same tribes, but some of them are from our tribes. So y'all FBA people who be talking about the Caribbeans and just blah, 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 they're no different than any other regular coon if they're cooning, or an African coon if they're cooning. Okay, that's just about it. And don't forget, I already showed many different documents and things where they were making fun of the way y'all talked and calling you gullahs, calling you Africans, like making fun of you. You were indigenous, but they're calling you an African gullah, okay? And making fun of the way you talk, and made it into songs that YT people sung and they're in the Library of Congress. Same thing in newspaper articles. I showed how they used the word gullah never with Geechee until 1930s and 40s, but they were using gullah as early as the early 1800s in newspapers, making fun of the way y'all talked. And I also showed how Geechee was used by itself in the newspapers in the early 1800s as well. They didn't combine them until later to fuck with y'all. But regardless of that, Geechee, whenever it was referred to people who called themselves Geechees, who were of a black lookership. And it wasn't until weirdos like Lorenzo wrote a book about Gullah or about the Geechees and tried to put this whole Gullah thing in there, even though the word Geechee was only in there in the book twice, and it never really explains where the word Geechee comes from, which is the Ogeechee River. But they try to say it comes from the word Kisi, Kisi, which was a tribe in fucking Liberia or something like that, even though Ogeechee is a river in the Americas, in low country. And then this person comes in there and writes a whole book full of fluff. None of y'all even read the book. 3/4 of the book is names. He just wrote a bunch of names. Like, these names sound like this. And then y'all look. You even had people like this known for bringing books, and then another guy known for bringing books to the masses to bring this Gullah part to you. Even though there's literal wildlife preservations to try to preserve the little bit of history that I guess a lot of y'all niggas ain't paying no attention to, which that goes along with this map by the Ogeechee, the wildlife preserve, bunch of islands, low country, people going down. Oh yeah, hold up.
Oh, I don't understand you too good, Grandma. I said, what do you mean you can't understand me? You can understand other things, right? You can understand me. No, Grandma, I don't understand you. Anything for a while. Yeah, something. Some of them, yeah, they call me from, if I'm from Africa I'm not from Africa. I'm a full-blooded American.
So yeah, they were trying to make fun of the way y'all talk, and they brought that whole Gullah BS to you later. So I'm pretty much done. You're gonna have to catch my other videos because I got so much on the Geechee thing that it just wouldn't be all. You couldn't get it all in 10 minutes. But just so you can see, on the website about the Ogeechee River, it says Paleo-Indian societies arrived in the area of the Ogeechee River around 11,500 years ago. And the river was settled for many centuries by the Mississippians and the Uchis upon arrival. Who are the Mississippians? They would be whoever were the tribes in that area at the time. That would be your Chicora that they were just talking about. There would be your Yamasis. There would be your Uchis. And there were whoever was in that area, which were there were many different tribes. So, yeah, man. Good plan.